I'm at a clinic at the moment, and we're going to look at the blood cells. So I've got a doctor here. She's amazing, an incredible doctor. And we're going to look at the blood cells under a microscope. And we don't have a vaccinated person here, but she's tested vaccinated blood, and we've got some photos that she's taken.
Yeah, this is a dark field microscope, so we can actually do live blood analysis with this microscope, and we can take the blood and look right away under the microscope, and you can still see these things are still alive. They're all microorganisms, they're moving around, so this is all healthy microbes. They're very important to have them in the blood. These are our red blood cells, and we're aiming here that they're really round and separated, so one by one. These are the white blood cells, the leukocyte, and you can actually also see there is movement in the cell, which is really important that they're active. Yeah, so this is important to see.
And what is this, Dr. Peggy?
Well, a microscope.
And what's the exact name for this, and what does it do?
It's a dark field microscope, so the background is actually black. And when you use light field microscopes, you need to cover the object, so you wouldn't see anything otherwise.
Right.
Yeah, so by using a dark field, we can just use the blood and look right to it. So we have attached a little camera here, so we can see it on the screen.
Okay. And this is healthy blood, right? So we're testing it live. We're testing Dr. Peggy's blood live. And what we can see is less aggregation. This was tested a while ago, right? This was put under a while ago. And we're seeing the quality of the cell, of the blood cell, intact. So it's not damaged, it's good quality blood cells.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is an example of good blood cells, okay? This is an oversimplification, guys. What we're going to do today is we're going to see, right, we're going to see normal blood compared to vaccinated blood. Very simple. We're going to compare both bloods and see normal blood versus vaccinated blood, unvaxxed versus vaxxed. All right, so what we can see, we're looking at a live feed of Dr. Peggy's blood, and we can see good quality blood cells. Do you want to add anything before we look at?
No, that's pretty much it. No. What is also important actually that the serum space is clean like here, so there shouldn't be any things what you will see soon on the vaccinated people. So we found very strange stuff in his blood, which I haven't seen in 30 years during microscopy. So it's.
So when did your patient come in? This client, when did he come in, and when did you test his blood, and what vaccine did he get?
Yeah, so meanwhile I have seen a lot of different patients, some of them right on the same day even, some patients after a week or two, or months later also. So, but the effect is always the same. The coagulation is a big problem.
Right.
Yeah.
And how many patients have come in that were vaccinated where you've tested their blood?
At least 60, 70.
60 to 70 patients. And one of the common things that you've seen is corrupted blood amongst.
It's the coagulation, and also we have actually thrombocytes, platelets in the blood, and they can coagulate together and can build a kind of coagulation clots. And this is to see also a lot in these patients. They have the coagulation.
Can you define coagulation for people who don't understand it? What does coagulation mean?
So at one point you get blood cells like this, that they come out and stuck all together. Yeah, this causes coagulation, but also the build-up of bigger thrombocytes, so thrombocytes, clots, and fibrin. Fibrin are these little strings in the blood. They're just like a web what they're creating, and this web can really make your blood really sticky and not flowing.
Right. These are your photos, right, of your micrographs of your patients who have taken the vaccine.
The vaccine.
So
what we see here, that the red blood cells are all stuck on each other, so they stick like pancakes, we could say. But it's a coagulation problems, so they're stuck on each other. And what we also see is this big thing here in the blood, which I cannot explain exactly what it is because I cannot analyze it deeper here with my equipment, but I can assume it's a graphene oxide or something.
So have you ever seen this before?
No.
You have never seen this before.
No.
How many years have you been practicing?
30 years.
So Dr. Peggy has been practicing for 30 years, guys. She's never seen anything like this. Let that sink in for a moment. She's been testing blood for 30 years and she has never seen this unknown object here, okay? Now, Dr. Young has the equipment to test what that is, right? He's got, what is it called?
Electronic microscope.
Electronic microscope, which allows him to test the actual substance, more so, to see what it is, what it's made out of. So he doesn't only have micrographs, but he can actually test what this is. Again, this is unknown. Dr. Peggy doesn't know what that is because she only has this at this point, right? You only have that. All right, so here we're seeing an aggregate of the blood cells of the vaxxed person aggregating together, getting stuck, sticky, and that's not good. Right? This is good blood, unvaxxed blood, vaxxed blood. All right, do you want to go to the next slide?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so is that a new one? Did we take a look at that one?
Yeah, this we haven't seen.
Let's enlarge that. Alright, so this is the same one? Or different? Again, that's unknown. We don't know what that is.
Yes, definitely nothing organic.
Nothing organic.
Yeah.
Right.
This was, I took it because you can actually see the cell surfaces here are really not healthy. So the cell membranes are not healthy. That's usually happening if some intoxication or something happening. And this is actually a white blood cell which is completely destroyed, which I have only seen in people after receiving chemotherapy or some kind of similar treatments were very toxic. So again, it's very damaging to the red and white blood cells. Yeah, this is not normal.
So the membrane of the blood cells in a vax person has been completely corrupted. Let's look at this is live. This is what blood cells are supposed to look like.
A white blood cell, you see the activity
right?
is
and the membrane is the way it's supposed to be, right? So if you could see, it's perfectly circular. This is the visual reference on how good blood cells should be. This we're seeing a totally corrupted membrane, cellular membrane. Okay. And this here is what, Dr. Peggy?
A white blood cell, but it's destroyed. It's not.
This is a white blood cell that has been totally destroyed in a vax person.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, what are we looking at here? This is very bizarre.
That's
right?
very bizarre.
Very,
and
very
I have
bizarre.
no answer. I sent this photo actually to friends, doctor friends, and asked if they see similar things, and they say yes. And I really don't know what this is, and what's really bizarre is these like kind of tentacles or what is it? What comes out there? So I can just repeat. I really don't know what it is, but I guess this are structures like graphene oxide or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is like a crystallized, unknown structure that looks like it has life on its own. That's growing a network. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah,
it looks like a crystallized graphene structure that is growing a network, and what you can see are these Morgellon type of strings sticking out of it. This is very, very bizarre, and Dr. Peggy has never, ever seen anything like this in her 30 years of practicing medical practice. So that to me
is really bizarre.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's again. Okay, what are we looking at?
Yes, you see a similar thing. You see this thing with these, again, growing things out of it. So
Growing?
yeah, because these things, they were growing. They were. I mean, if you wait another couple hours, there would be maybe, I don't know how they would. They were definitely growing.
Growing.
Yeah.
So they're alive. It's sort of got a life on its own.
Definitely was something alive.
Was it moving live?
This thing here wasn't moving, but these things.
So that here, right? This crystallized structure here.
They're not that they were moving like this, but they were kind of growing.
Growing, sticking out, right?
Yeah.
Wow. This is insane, guys. So doctor has found, when she was looking at this live under a microscope, that this crystallized structure was interacting, was growing, was sort of like a network. So let's look at the next one and try to get through this. What are we looking at here?
Here again, the blood cells are coagulated, and also again there is something in the blood. Yeah, has again these things here on the side. So very similar. I just can think that must be graphene oxide.
Must be graphene.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Young has unequivocally proved that it was graphene. It is graphene in the blood.
Yeah.
But we've only got microscopy to work with right now. So this one is a video. Let's enlarge it.
Yeah, this is actually really difficult to explain a bit, because it's a white blood cell, but also here very unusual how it comes out. It's not normal to look at this, and these overactive movement in this cell. I would say this is a cell that reacts to something toxic or something what wants to defend from, because it's. I never have seen a white blood cell like this, so it was for me also like, wow, what's this? Why is this so aggressively working?
Right.
Like you could say if an autoimmune activity or something goes on, the cells attacking something very strong. So it was not a normal white blood cell which we saw here.
Okay. All right. So that's the end of the slides. How many vax patients did you have?
At least 60, 70. I didn't count them, but. Now it's actually every day I see at least 2-3 patients there.
That are vaxxed.
Of course, more and more people.
Does she have any analysis of the same blood before and after the vax?
Yes, because many of them, they were my patients before, so they haven't had any things like this. Especially not these stuff what we see here in the blood, what I have never seen before. So that's something. No, I have seen patients before and after, yes, and there was a big change. Right,
so she's had long-term patients, she's tested the blood before, then she tested the blood afterwards, after the shot, and, she's never seen anything like it. So yes, before and after she's got that.